has been several weeks since Chase has defeated the first two Zelda games, and has lost most of his sanity.
Death tastes like pudding.
He now valiantly trudges forward to complete A Link to the Past, but the question remains, will he do it? Will he remain triumphant? Will he wash his hands after he uses the restroom? Never!
That was weird. Anyone want any pudding? So after the first two Zelda games were released, they caught on like wildfire. Well, the first definitely more than the second. While I don't think either of them have aged incredibly well, the impact they have left on the industry is nothing to scoff at. Play any modern video game today and you can find something that Zelda started. But during the late 80s, something amazing was on the horizon. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And that meant that many series like Mario, Castlevania, Mega Man, even Final Fantasy were getting major 16-bit upgrades. And I bet you're wondering, did Zelda get the same treatment? Well, they don't call it the game where the series actually starts for nothing. But before we can go any further, we have a plot to summarize. This game is actually a prequel to the first two Zelda games, but I should really stop mentioning the Zelda timeline before I pop another blood vessel. Once again in the Kingdom of Hyrule, there exists a realm known as the Golden Land, which would be renamed to the Sacred Realm in later games. The Golden Land houses the Triforce, which people from across the land would fight over to make their wishes come true. In an attempt to restore peace to Hyrule, the King of Hyrule ordered the 7 sages to seal the entrance to the Golden Land. Many centuries later, a wizard known as Aghanim attempted to break the seal placed on the Golden Land by using the powers of the young maidens who were descendants of the 7 sages that casted the seal. The game begins with our protagonist Link getting a telepathic message from Princess Zelda asking to be saved as she's been captured in Hyrule Castle. Link's uncle attempts to save Zelda himself, but dies not even 2 feet inside the castle. Way to go, Uncle. This is why you don't even have a name. Link takes his sword and shield and rescues Zelda and is told by He's told by Conehead that in order to stop Aghanim from stealing the Triforce, he must collect 3 pendants and obtain the Master Sword, the Sword of Evil's Bane. So, Link does just that. He completes the first 3 dungeons and pulls the Master Sword from its pedestal in the Lost Woods. Well, that victory didn't last long, as Aghanim and his soldiers invade Zelda's sanctuary and takes her back to Hyrule Castle. And Link is too late to save Zelda before Aghanim breaks the seal on the Golden Land.
Wah, wah, wah. Will you cut that out?
After a pretty easy fight, Link is sent to the Golden Land, which is now the Dark World. Conehead then commissions Link with the task of rescuing the imprisoned maidens from the dungeons scattered across the Dark World. You know, this is a lot of shit to just dump on a 16-year-old kid. I just wanted to see if my uncle was okay. He wasn't.
Golly!
Overall, while it doesn't seem like the plot is anything too different from the last 2 games, the biggest difference is that it all actually takes place in the game, and is presented in such a way that makes it easy to understand. No need for the manual here unless you really need to learn how to run into walls. Well, now that we've gotten the plot out of the way, why don't we get into the improvements from the last 2 games, and holy shit, there's a lot of them. For starters, the entire game's presentation was given a tremendous boost. Everything is much more colorful and detailed. There's rarely a time you see something and go, well, what the hell is that supposed to be? Traversal is a hell of a lot better than it was in Zelda 2, as after the first dungeon you receive the Pegasus boots from Conehead, which allows you to dash in a straight line for a while, and combined with the flute which lets you fast travel, getting where you need to go is a complete non-issue. It also helps that we have a very detailed map this time around, making A Link to the Past a game you don't need a guide to enjoy. Oh god, no! Oh god, please don't kill me! Oh. Well, I thought that would be a lot worse. Even if you do die, you can put a fairy in a bottle, which will revive you when you bite the dust. And along with the returning red potion and the fact that you start at the beginning of the dungeon when you die, thank you. The game is much less difficult than the last 2 games. Still challenging, but it's a lot more fair and balanced. There was really rarely a time I ever lost my temper. Well, except for this fucking worm boss. If you're really struggling, you can try to find heart pieces, which are new for this game. Collect 4 of them and you get an extra heart. You can find them by exploring the world or completing mini-games. But some of these mini-games are a pain in the ass when you want the heart piece, like this digging game, which is completely randomized. You just gotta keep digging and digging.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa!
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
There's also this chest game, which thank God I got on the first try. Wanna know something else that makes this game less difficult than the others? The control. Link can actually move diagonally now, which doesn't sound that great, but there's a lot less running into shit because of being locked to 4 directions like in Zelda 1. Link also actually swings his sword instead of stabbing enemies, which is much more effective. And now we can do this spin attack that hits like a tank and is super useful. It's awesome. And then there's the dungeons, and these places got a major facelift. The first 3 in the light world are pretty simple, but once you enter the dark world, they get very complex and are really fun to complete. They now have multiple floors and some really interesting puzzles like draining and filling the water to get to each room in this dungeon, or using the conveyor belt to activate a switch. Although this game really likes conveyor belts for some reason, they are everywhere. And I will admit, not all of them are enjoyable. The Ice Palace comes to mind. It's the damn ice physics. They make simple paths really difficult, and make going down these steps impossible for some reason. Fuck. Just get in the... There we go. There's a lot of backtracking because of this puzzle that involves pushing these blocks to press this switch. Little advice, do Dungeon 6 first. Get the Cane of Samaria, saves the headache. Other than the Ice Palace, there's not really any other dungeon I don't enjoy. And none of them overstay their welcome. And something else that helps with that are some of the new items. My favorite being the hook shot. It allows you to grapple certain objects and items like these fairies. There's the fire and ice rods, these medallions, which are screen nukes and have really cool animations for using them, like this one where Link slams the ground with his sword and lightning comes out. I feel like fucking He-Man. There's also the magic mirror. As I said before, Link is sent to the Dark World, a distorted version of Hyrule that the Golden Land is turned into because of an evil wish that the last person who touched the Triforce made, who we will get into later. Using the magic mirror, Link can switch between the dark and the light world, and that makes for some really interesting secrets that are hidden very well. Now, I know that it must seem like I have nothing but good things to say about this game, and it's not that there's nothing about it I don't like. It's just that the things I don't like about it are more in relation to the previous games and how it improves on it. Which I don't really think it's fair to bring up now. And you know what, give me a break. You'd have a good time too if you didn't have to deal with those ghosts from Zelda 2 anymore. I still go to therapy. Well, if there's one thing I don't like, it's fucking wall masters. These bastards drop from the ceiling and try to grab Link, and when they do, they drag him back to the beginning of the dungeon. Fuck you! There's also these eye lasers in Turtle Rock. I cannot for the life of me figure out how these things work. Sometimes they fire when you look at them, sometimes they fire when you don't, and sometimes they just kind of fire when they feel like it. Well, now that we've discussed everything else, let's get back to that story. After Link saves Zelda from Turtle Rock on Death Mountain, she and the 6 other maidens use their power to break the seal in the final dungeon. This place absolutely shits on the other 2 final levels. I actually don't want to pull out my hair this time. It's still not easy, and it's still the biggest dungeon in the game, but there's no dead end, so I'll take it. At the end of the dungeon lies Aghanim, and after a game of energy tennis, he goes down. But after he does, it's revealed that Aghanim was Ganon the whole time. I don't really know why he felt the need to keep up the charade, even after breaking the Wise Man's seal, but you do you, Ganon, you evil pig monster, you. This Ganon fight was always one of my favorites. He's actually a pretty difficult fight, as he deals a lot of damage per hit, and his second form makes you relight the room to find him again. But don't worry, if you got the Cane of Barnia and bought some blue potions, you'll do fine. After Ganon bites the dust, Link uses the power of the Triforce to destroy Ganon's Dark World and returns peace to Hyrule forever. Sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. Hey, at least we got our uncle back. Maybe now he can get a name. Nope. And look, the knights aren't brainwashed anymore. They're kind of adorable. Kinda feel bad for killing you guys without remorse. And that was The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and holy shit, this game is a gallon of fresh air after the NES games. Okay, listen. I still love the original Legend of Zelda. It's still got a lot of charm, and overall I do think it has a better sense of adventure. But goddamn, this game is just so damn good that there's no reason I can deny it's better in almost every way. The combat, the dungeon design, the items, the sense of exploration, getting stronger, finding heart pieces. Replaying this game right after the first two has really shown me how much this game redefined the series and changed it for the better. And while it's still not my favorite Zelda game, I'm more of an Ocarina guy personally, I can't deny this is a damn good Zelda game that I had a great time revisiting.
And upon his tremendous victory, Chase rewards his hard work with more pudding.
I don't even like pudding.
He now continues on his quest to complete and review every Zelda game. But the question still remains, will he pussy out? Will he be a little bitch? Will he finally put the toilet seat up when he pees?
Do I know you?